Moses Malone, the chairman of the boards. 189 career net wins, 3 MVP awards, the first modern player to go directly from high school to professional basketball. He out-rebounded Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 73-30 in the 1983 NBA Finals and then went home to Petersburg, Virginia. The numbers trace a career that redefined what a center could be. Thanks for listening to NetWins at netwins.substack.com. Moses Malone led Petersburg High School to 50 consecutive victories and 2 state championships and was one of the most sought-after college basketball prospects in history. He chose to bypass college, however, and signed with the Utah Stars of the American Basketball Association in 1974, thereby becoming the first player to enter professional basketball directly from high school, which is historically correct, but Reggie Harding was drafted out of high school by the Pistons in 1962, though due to eligibility rules and a year spent playing in the Amateur Athletic Union, he did not play an NBA game until 1964. Back to Moses. He was 19 years old. He even signed a letter of intent to play at the University of Maryland before changing his mind and accepting a 5-year, $1 million ABA contract. The decision was groundbreaking and controversial. It was also, by every measure the NetWins database can construct, entirely correct. Moses Eugene Malone played from 1974 to 1995, 2 seasons in the ABA and 19 in the NBA across 8 franchises, dying in Norfolk, Virginia on September 13th, 2015 at age 60. The career that began in the ABA at 19 ended in San Antonio at 39. What it produced was one of the most sustained elite contributions in this database. There's an accompanying article here that has his career season by season that you can access at netwins.substack.com. So he had 162.8 net wins. In the playoffs, he had 15.6 net wins combined for 189, an average of 8.6 per season, with a peak of 16.2 in the 82-83 season. Keep in mind the ABA seasons are discounted at 90% in this newsletter's adjusted all-time rankings. Once again, thanks for listening to NetWins. This is a free feed, so sign up at netwins.substack.com. So the ABA years, the 2 years from 74 through 76 at ages 19 to 20 produced 10.5 combined raw net wins, respectable production for a teenager against professional competition. At 90%, those seasons contributed 9.45 net wins to the adjusted total rather than 10.5. After the ABA dissolved in 1976, he was acquired by the NBA's Buffalo Braves, who traded him to the Houston Rockets 2 games into the 76-77 season. His NBA debut season at 9.3 net wins at age 21, where he had 13.5 points per game and 13.4 rebounds per game, wasn't the year of a player adjusting to the new league. It was a year of a player who had already spent 2 professional seasons mastering his craft and arrived in the NBA ready to compete at a high level. His 77-78 dip at 4.8 net wins at age 22 is the 1 year the data shows genuine adjustment to a new team, a different role. He had 15 rebounds per game, but only 19.4 points as the system learned how to deploy him. It never happened again. Starting in 78-79, Malone entered a 5-year run that produced 62.4 net wins, averaging 12.5 per season across his ages 23 to 27. He won his first MVP in 1979 after averaging 24.8 points and a league-leading 17.6 rebounds per game. The 17.6 figures one of the highest single-season rebounding averages in the modern database, a mark that reflected both his relentless offensive board pursuit and his positioning in the paint. The formula is specifically designed to capture what he did, rebounding adding to his total at a 1-to-1 ratio. His 1,444 total rebounds in 78-79 spread across 82 games contributed an enormous positive to his net total before a single basket is counted. The formula's weighing of all positive contributions is favorable to players like Malone, whose value was concentrated in categories the traditional box score undervalues. In 1981, he led the Rockets to the NBA Finals, their only finals appearance in the pre-Olajuwon era. His 80-81 playoff net wins was 3.6, his best postseason run to that point. The Rockets lost in 6 games to Boston. His 81-82 season may be his most statistically dominant, 31.1 points per game, 14.7 rebounds per game, his second MVP. The raw numbers are extraordinary. Because the Philadelphia, his next season in 82-83 produced more net wins, 16.2 versus 14.6. So it keeps going up because Philadelphia, his new team with better teammates in a championship, generated a larger total for his contributions to share in. Let's talk about the 1983 championship. As one of the greatest rebounders ever, he won his third MVP award and propelled Philadelphia to a 65-17 record. He famously predicted foe, declaring the Sixers would sweep each round of the 83 playoffs. The 76ers roster boasted some of the league's best all-time players, including Julius Erving, Bobby Jones, and Maurice Cheeks. With the addition of Malone, the Sixers became unstoppable, and they steamrolled through the postseason to win the 83 championship. The prediction was updated to faux FIFO. They went 4-0, 4-1, 4-0 rather than 3 straight sweeps, losing 1 game to Milwaukee in the conference finals. It was close enough. Malone was named finals MVP after averaging 26 points and 18 boards for the series. As I mentioned before, out-rebounding Kareem 73-30 over the 4 games. That rebounding differential against the most accomplished center in NBA history is the single most vivid illustration of what Malone brought to the floor. Kareem was a Hall of Famer, averaging 21 points per game in those finals. Malone made him invisible on the glass. Once again, that was his highest playoff net wins of 3.6, and combined with his 16.2 regular season net wins, it made it his most complete season in his career. What separates Malone from most centers of his era is the durability of his production. After the championship year, he posted 10.5 net wins at age 28, 13, 9.9, 9, 8.1, 10.8, 7.8, and then 5.5 at age 35 and 5.5 at age 36. That's 9 consecutive seasons of positive contribution from ages 28 through 36 across 4 different teams. He averaged more than 20 points per game for 11 consecutive seasons and led the NBA in rebounds 6 of the 7 seasons from 78 to 85. The 88-89 season at age 33 deserves special notice. 10.8 net wins with the Atlanta Hawks, averaging 20.2 points and 11.8 rebounds. A 33-year-old center producing double-digit net wins on a team that went deep into the playoffs is not what typical aging curves predict. He was the rare player whose physical style was not dependent on athleticism so much as positioning, anticipation, and relentless effort, and that aged slower than the norm. So what's the all-time picture? He's 17th in combined net wins between Chris Paul and Larry Bird. The 3rd leading rebounder and 10th leading scorer in combined NBA, ABA history. 3 MVPs in 79, 82, and 83, 1 NBA championship, 12 All-Star selections. The all-time leader in offensive rebounds since the NBA began tracking the category separately in the 73-74 season with 6,731. The offensive rebounding record is the one that best encapsulates his career. Since the 73-74 season, when the NBA began keeping offensive and defensive rebounds as separate categories, he's ranked first, far ahead of Artis Gilmore at 4,816. And the net wins formula, which credits every rebound equally, captured a portion of what that means, but only a portion. The second chance points to disrupted defensive rotations, the demoralizing effect of watching a missed shot immediately regenerate into another possession. Those consequences ripple beyond what any box score column records. He was born in Petersburg, Virginia, went from Petersburg High to the ABA to Houston to Philadelphia to 8 NBA teams across 21 years. He never went to college. He never needed to. The chairman of the boards. the net wins formula, and all written content of original works. All rights are reserved. Thank you for your time.